Hello, it's GotAUkulele.com review day. As always, this video to complement the written review linked below, where you'll get a lot more detail and background to this one. And it's something I was quite excited about when I first saw it. This is the PGU-200MH from Pignose guitars. Interesting, huh? Why did I get interested and kind of dewy-eyed about it? Well, if you're a guitar player like me who's played an electric guitar, you've probably seen one of these or heard about them. This is a real classic. This is the 7100 battery-powered box designed in the late 1960s by Pignose. And, you know, these have been used by Keith Richards and people like that. Frank Zappa, the superb, most electric guitarists, own one of these. Read the full written review for more history on that. And what Pignose have done is they've put that amplifier system from their little box into a ukulele, as they've done before with guitars. So it's a concert scale ukulele with an amplifier and speaker built into it. Not the first uke with a speaker built in. If you remember, I reviewed the Vox that did the same sort of thing, and it was a bit disappointing, but there we are. This one by Pignose, this is what they do. They make these speakers because these are cracking and pretty loud as well for a little 5-watt box. So it's made of all mahogany body. That's a solid body, and I love the shape of it. That follows the Pignose shape of their electric guitars. It's really nicely done, finished in a satin. Every edge is really smooth and tactile and really nice, actually. I like that. Slopped into the middle of it is that speaker grill with the Pignose badge logo, the same as on the little speakers. Telling you exactly what it is. Controlled by what else, of course? The Pignose chrome pigged nose volume pot. No tone whatsoever, because on these little things you would change the tone by opening up the case and creating kind of a wah effect to it. Pignose claim you can do something similar with the back of this, but we'll come on to that. You get a standard, it looks like rosewood, I'm not sure on the wood, slot bridge with a bone straight top saddle. You get a strap button there, and you get a standard output jack and a headphone jack. So there's 3 forms of output here. You've got the onboard speaker, controlled by a 9-volt battery, a jack to an amplifier like the Pignose amps, and a headphone for listening to yourself. And looking on the back there, you see the battery compartment, you see the control panel for the pot, and this is the speaker, which is rated as a 10-watt speaker, but we'll come on to whether I think it's 10 watts a bit later on. They say you can take this off and change the tone. I will tell you now, it's incredibly fiddly to take it off because you need a screwdriver, but it is doable. Didn't change the tone at all for me. I wouldn't bother. And there we are. Really nice in the body, actually, and this is promising. Up to the neck, which I think is mahogany, it's in an obvious couple of pieces with joints like this, and it really quite a flat profile, a bit rounded and C-shaped on the back, but no real heel because it's bolted on, as you can see. But it's a really roomy 38mm up at the nut. It's also a radiused profile, so that's really nice to see. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to the body. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 nickel silver frets. That rosewood fingerboard is laminate, so it's lots of strips running this way. You get position dots at 5, 7, 10, 12, 15. They're repeated on the side. You know, I quite like that, actually. It's a really nice roomy neck with lots of space between the strings. Beyond the bone nut, and the setup on this is really, really good. Pignose guitar shaped headstock. I find that logo is really lost. I'm struggling to even show it to you. Screen printed on. Unbranded geared tuners with this really intriguing PGG travel guitar. Do they not know what a ukulele is? Strung with what look like Aquila strings, but they don't come with a swing tag, so I don't think they are. And it comes in at about 220 quid in the UK. Incidentally, these are not made direct by Pignose, but under license from Japanese guitar and instrument maker Aria. Aria makes some pretty decent stuff, so we might be in good hands here. And I must say, the build on this is really good. The only gripe I can find is on that speaker grill, a bit of the paint is scratching off down here. You'd reject it for that in the shop, but it's not life and death and easily touched up. Everything else is really well made. I love the body. I love the feel of it. It's really solid. It is leagues above the quality of the Vox in its finish and its quality control. I love that radiused fingerboard. I love that width at the nut. Of course, everything is about the speaker, but we'll come on to that. To hold it, this is, sorry, still getting over the cold. This is a solid mahogany body. Boy, is it heavy. And it's body heavy too. That's because there's a big amplifier in there and a speaker. Understandable, I guess. Noticeably heavy, but thankfully you've got these strap buttons. You're not going to play this without a strap. It's far too heavy to hold and play. Okay, that's no biggie. So, 3 outputs. Jack socket output. I'm not going to plug this into an amplifier because I don't really see the point these days. On YouTube, I'm recording with a microphone. Take it from me, through the jack socket. It's pretty decent. It's a piezo sound, but an amplifier can tweak that. It's nice and clean. It's not distorted. It's not muddy. Through the headphones, it's nice and clean, but it's very, very quiet through headphones. Fine for home practice, I guess. But I think if you were in an area with a lot of background noise, unless you've got noise-cancelling cans, you're probably going to struggle to hear it. But the main event of this, of course, is that Pignose amplifier, which you turn on with a push-pull on the pig's nose. Now, these 7100s are really, really loud. You can plug an electric guitar into that and really get it to scream. It's only a 5-watt amp, and this says 10 watts on the back. You may recall I found the Vox really disappointingly quiet, and you're gonna have to take my word for me on this, because there's compression here, and obviously I've got the levels set for the microphone. This is not as quiet as the Vox, nowhere near. It's much louder than the Vox, and that's a great thing, but it's nowhere near as loud as this, and that's what I was expecting. I love Pignose, and I just want it to sound like this. It's about as loud as a fairly entry-level soprano or concert laminate instrument, so it'll keep up with one of those if you were playing with a friend. In a big jam with lots of instruments, I think you're going to be longing for a little bit more headroom on the volume. So we switch it on and plug it in. Now, again, I've got the levels set on this video. You're just going to have to take my word for it. It's about as loud as a pretty standard soprano. And when the volume's right up, it's also got, and this is a Pignose trademark, a bit of that distortion fuzz. It's a very thin sound, but it's got loads of sustain. You can hear that slightly overdriven. Switch turn down to get rid of that overdrive. It may as well be acoustic, and off. Naturally, it makes very little noise at all. So I'm a bit torn with it. The tone I don't really like. I mean, don't get me wrong, the 7100 tone is not high-end quality. It's not a tube amp or anything like that. It's a really cheesy sound, but it's a characterful sound because it's cheesy. This is kind of thin and a bit and you're wanting more. Don't get me wrong, it's not quite like the Vox was, and it's not pointless. I just want a bit more to it. I think in reality though, if you're going to play one of these seriously, you're going to play it on stage and you're going to plug it in with the jack, and then it's great and it looks the part and it's a real rock out thing, but I'm torn. I just wanted so much more out of that speaker. There's little else I can find wrong with it. I really like the build, apart from that little scratch and flaw. I really like the neck, as I say. It is heavy, sure. This is a bit of a novelty though. You could say all Pignoses are a bit of novelty, but the 7100 is actually, actually works as an amplifier, and lots of people use them. When you plug it in through the jack, incidentally, you lose that Pignose fuzz overdrive. It's just a straight, I think it's a straight output just from the piezo saddle, and it doesn't involve the Pignose amp, so you lose that character. It's fun. It's fun, but I don't know how to show you how loud it is without sort of decibel meters and things, but I've got sopranos. If I were to play this against the Kamaka soprano, the Kamaka would drown it out. If I were to play it against an Ohana or a Carla, entry-level, mid-level, soprano or concert, it's about that loud. I do like the sustain though, which goes on and on, but it's a bit thin sounding. It's probably because that speaker's just not very big. About 220 in the UK, gets a reasonably good score on the written review if you read that below. And the reason for that is because I think you really need to know why you're buying it. If you're buying it purely for the Pignose speaker, I wouldn't. I'd just buy a solid body and I'd buy one of these. If you're buying it as a solid body electric guitar with some great looks, with a bit of novelty for some practice and a headphone socket and stuff, it's great for that. Just be sure why you're looking at it and what you're expecting to get out of it. If you're expecting this to be a speaker that can wake the dead and really rock out in like a busking situation, no, this isn't going to cut it. It's not for that. But at home or in small groups and gatherings, the speaker's quite good, if a little thin sounding. I'm going on. Pignose PGU-200MH, made by Aria in China. Is it a travel guitar? Is it a ukulele? No, it's a Pignose ukulele. Concert scale, kind of recommended. I quite like it actually in many ways, but just give me more oomph from here, that's all. But it's not that bad. Back next week, something more traditional next week. It had to be, didn't it? I mean, some more bonkers stuff coming soon. Be sure to have a look at the written review. That's where the detail is. Have a look at the Patreon. Have a look at subscribing to the channel. You know the deal. Press the buttons. I will see you very soon.